What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you the 4 methods that I use to determine if firewood is properly seasoned before I burn it. I'll show you examples of each one of them. Now I should say I'm sure there's more than 4 methods to tell if firewood's dry. These are the 4 that I trust and the 4 that I use the most. So the first way I tell is just by appearance. This pile of maple here, this is 10 months old, and you see the bark peeling off of this. All these pieces have the bark either peeling off or the bark's peeling away from the wood, and you see a lot of heavy cracking and checking. Really good visual indicator that this firewood's dry. Now on the other hand, I have a pile of firewood here that was probably cut and split, maybe about 6 weeks ago or so. You don't see any of that checking present at all. Now the next method I use to determine if firewood's properly seasoned is sound. I'll take 2 pieces of firewood that I believe are seasoned, and you simply bang them together and listen to the sound that it produces. If you get kind of a high-pitched knock that kind of resonates, it's probably seasoned firewood. Listen to the sound that produces. And then compare it to this 6 or 7 week old maple here. One more time. Now the next tool I use to determine if firewood is properly seasoned is a moisture meter. If you've never seen one of these, they have 2 tines on them. And basically what you do is you take a piece of wood, you split it in half, and you stick the moisture meter, into the piece of wood, and it'll tell you how much moisture content that wood has in it. This one's a little bit difficult to read on camera, but you see the numbers there. And when I take the reading, I'll get a little LED light that lights up next to the corresponding moisture reading. I think this tool is really important if you're somebody who's processing wood maybe in the winter or springtime to burn the following fall. Time really isn't on your side depending on the type of wood you burn, and you might want to double check it with a moisture meter just to make sure you're burning seasoned stuff. So what I'll do is I'll take a piece of that maple off the pile that I told you was about 10 months old. I'll go ahead and split that in half, and we'll take a reading off it and see what we get. We're reading at about 13% moisture there. So a lot of moisture meters just have a digital readout, and I would actually prefer that. This one's a little more complicated than it needs to be, and it's not the easiest one to show you on video, but we're running about 13% moisture. So this is plenty ready to burn. So the next piece I have here is a piece of that 6, 7 week old maple that I was telling you about, and I split a piece in half, and we're going to take a reading from the inside. And we're reading about 25%. So the moisture meter is a great tool. Like I said, if you're trying to burn something that you just processed maybe 7, 8, 9 months ago, a year ago, probably a good idea to use that before you throw it in your stove. Now the next method I use to determine if my firewood is properly seasoned, and it's probably my favorite method, is how long has it been stacked? That maple I showed you a minute ago that's been on that pile for 10 months, I know that's properly seasoned just based on time. Maple for me, 8 months I generally feel comfortable. I like to go longer than that, but 8 months minimum I'm generally safe. Now oak on the other hand, which I have behind me here, takes a long time to dry, maybe a year and a half, 2 years to properly season. So, you know, if I'm pulling this stuff in and I'm trying to burn it shorter than 2 years, I'm probably going to hit it with a moisture meter just to be on the safe side. Now if I'm burning firewood that's not properly seasoned, I'm going to have a difficult time lighting the stove, difficult time keeping it going. It's going to produce a lot of moisture inside the stove, produce a lot of creosote, it's going to smolder. It's just not a very good burning experience. So the drier the firewood you can put in your stove, the better off you're going to be come burning season. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.